Hey YouTubers, so this is going to be something a little bit different. Honestly, with 2017 kind of here already, honestly, I'm kind of wanting to do a little bit more, I guess, different content on my channel. I'm going to be covering movies and movie box office stuff a lot more. I've done it a little bit in the past, but honestly, I'm just going to take a different approach. I have a lot of discussions on my channel about Dragon Ball, about other things and everything else, but I want to actually start making videos a little bit more focused on just like me talking to you guys, so I can actually create more quick content for, those days when I have nothing else to do or I really want to cover one particular topic. I don't necessarily have anyone to talk to at the particular time, or they don't know what I'm going to be talking about and they can't necessarily keep up with me in the conversation. So this is a little bit different, and honestly, I just want to make this video because I have covered slightly in the past the Underworld movies, and I honestly really like those films. They're some of my favorites in terms of like guilty pleasures and everything. If you watched the video I dropped yesterday with MJ, him and I were talking about that, and those films are one of my most anticipated. Honestly, it just opened today. At this time, in terms of the box office, there's no reported numbers coming out, and usually that's a little bit weird. Pre-established franchise, and the trend as the last few years, typically, maybe this is a video for another day, but since basically the Dark Knight Rises shootings, kind of shifted the way that movies have been released as of late, and midnight showings aren't necessarily the openings for films anymore. They've kind of shifted to 8 or 6 or 7 p.m. on Thursday night, but Underworld didn't necessarily have that in every single market that it was opening. Most of them actually opened at midnight, which is really unusual for a 2017 movie, especially a pre-established franchise. So honestly, at this point, we're not necessarily sure exactly how much Underworld made in its midnight showing. Reports and everything, basically projections would say that it didn't make very much, and it's really weird. And I just want to kind of clear up some misconceptions for anyone who might be even remotely interested in why Underworld definitely hasn't actually made or won't make this time a lot of money domestically. And that is because of, I guess, the shifting in international markets, not only from the time that this film franchise actually started, but even the gap of time between 2011, I'm pretty sure, Underworld Awakening to 2017's Underworld Blood Wars. And one thing we wanted to say here is that the international market has become far more important when it comes to franchise filmmaking, especially kind of dumb action films like this, where they have some semblance of fan excitement, but also a lot of people could give a shit less. And I feel like that is something that's really interesting. So just to kind of clear up, no Underworld movie at this point has actually opened up to less than $20 million, and it doesn't necessarily seem like Underworld Blood Wars is actually going to even come close to that number here domestically. In fact, it seems really kind of apparent that Sony and Screen Gem have actually, I guess, sabotaged this film's domestic numbers in order to spend more of their money in terms of marketing overseas and get people out and about in foreign markets to actually go see this film, to make sure that this franchise actually survives. Because one of the things that they've been wanting to do is they've been wanting to kind of either do more movies, and there's been talk of a TV show for the last couple of years now. They're very excited to expand this franchise, but they need to see where the real money's coming in, which is the foreign markets. And it is truly doing pretty well for its budget and everything going into the foreign markets, because at this point, talking to you guys right now, it has over $42 million in foreign domestic grosses, and that it hasn't even opened in Japan and some in the UK and all that up until probably now or in a couple weeks. And that's actually really good, honestly, for a film like this and everything. And if it continues on the same path foreignly, it doesn't matter whether it bombs or it doesn't even live up to even the lowest of the franchise's draws domestically. It might even make the most money of any film in the franchise, which would almost certainly guarantee another film in the franchise or that television show that they've been talking about in some way, shape, or form. It would probably be a show that's produced foreignly, and brought over to us, kind of similar to how the Transporter series did it, with Luc Besson's company basically working on it and giving it to us. And also, for a lot of people who don't know, that's how they made Hannibal as well. So I know a lot of people like these films, and I know a lot of people are hopeful, probably, maybe not as much as we would like, but I know a lot of people are probably really hopeful that these movies actually do pretty well. So we might be able to get to see like Kate Beckinsale reprise the role for a sixth or a fifth time, because she wasn't necessarily in the third film, but another Underworld movie or something that extends the franchise beyond this particular film. And whether it's good or not, every film has those particular fans. So I just wanted to make this video to clear up that perception. This movie will not do very well domestically, but it's been set up strategically so it makes money foreign and international markets, and can probably and most likely secure the future of the franchise going forward. And they're going to start focusing away on domestic numbers. In fact, one of the cool things about this film, even though it looks kind of polished, or at least as polished as the other films are, they actually cut the budget in half, but I haven't seen the film as of recording this, but I'm really looking forward to go watching it today. And personally, it doesn't look like, to me, at least on the trailers, it doesn't look like they actually cut the budget in half from the last one. The last one looked really polished. It was, a $70 million production, which is actually pretty big. It would have probably made very little money in comparison for that budget, but they obviously looked at those numbers, and they're going to go with something a little bit more of on the cheaper side, at least production wise, and probably spending that other $35 million on a very heavy marketing campaign in foreign markets. And they're really hoping to see a huge payoff here. And personally, just how we're looking at it right now with the $42 million this movie is actually grossed and that we know about, I think it's going to work. I think we're going to probably be seeing more Underworld movies going forward, but I'll update everyone as we go on. And like I said, quick videos, cheap videos of, basic box office information or box office news that I want to be covering. I really love covering the box office stuff. So honestly, guys, if you like this, make sure to tell me in the comment section below, and I'll try to do more stories, even more elaborate stories than this. Honestly, this is just me talking kind of. I know a lot of people are probably going to be upset about how well it's doing, or whether we're ever going to see a fifth one or a sixth one in the franchise. And I just wanted to clear up some of those misconceptions. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you all later.